I'm a little bit nervous here. Alright, well I got about 30 minutes to explain something before it starts raining. Do me a little favor, guys. Tell me if you guys think that this bike is chattering a little bit. To me, I didn't notice anything abnormal. I posted a video on my Snapchat story, which if you guys don't follow me on Snapchat, you guys should go do that. There's a lot of bonus content out there. And my friend Motorrad Boy, who also does social media and has an S1000RR, he has a 2024, this is a 2023, slid up and said, oh, that doesn't sound good at all. And I was like, bro, what are you talking about? It sounds like pretty normal to me. He's like, I don't know, it sounds pretty loud. And I'm like, oh no. I've been riding this bike around for the weekend because dealerships are closed. I can't do anything about it when dealerships are closed, but I have discovered that this bike is still doing a very weird thing with the quick shifter. When you're riding this bike on the highway in like 4th, 5th, and 6th gear around like that 10,000 to 12,000 RPM mark, you hit up on the quick shifter and it'll double bog down, and it's like smashes. Every time it does it, it smashes my nuts into the tank. It feels horrible. You feel like you have to brace every time you upshift. It's horrible. Something is very clearly wrong, and my friend out in California who has a 23 S1000RR says that he has no problems at all with his. So I also know this is a problem because most of the time it's totally fine. It has no problems at all. It does it very randomly, and so I feel myself bracing every time I upshift, and half the time it doesn't even have the problem, so it feels like I'm bracing for nothing. And then when it does do it, it does catch me off guard, and it's like, my nuts. So this is the 3rd time I am bringing this bike in to the dealer to have this problem fixed, which is another possible requirement for lemon law in Ohio. Is if you have the same problem 3 times and the dealer still can't fix it, then that is also grounds for lemon law. But the dealer already went over the 30-day window for lemon law in general, so I just kind of want this video to serve as a follow-up to my last video talking about the problems of this bike, and I'm just continuing to talk about these problems. So one of the main comments I saw of people criticizing my video were people saying, oh, Matthew, I have an S1000RR and it's been great. I've had no problems at all. You are just whatever. You're just complaining, bro. Why do you complain so much? Why don't you just talk about some positivity? And it's like, yeah, listen, me having problems with my S1000RR does not invalidate good experiences with BMW. And another piece of criticism I also received was, Matthew, it doesn't seem like you have a problem with the bike. You even talk good about the bike. It seems like your problem is with the dealer, and I will say that's valid. That's very valid criticism. Whoever was saying that, I think you guys are kind of right. Said a lot throughout the video, don't buy S1000RRs, when in reality, I think my issue is just with the dealer and how long that they took. Things go wrong on brand new bikes. It happened. However, I don't have any of these issues with my V4. My V4 has been perfect ever since I got it, besides it hitting something in the road, which, you know, nobody can control. The dealer fixed that bike up right away, and there was no problem. My customer experience with Ducati has been worlds above BMW. Now, I did call BMW corporate and they were sympathetic, and I put in a dealer complaint, but they still, at the end of the day, don't have any control over the situation. Mind your way at all? Cool. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry. I've had such a massive caffeine kick lately. I kicked it. I actually managed to kick my caffeine intake. You see that? I swear to God, dude, I'm pushing up as hard as I can with these boots. That's why I'm wearing these while it's like 95 out. It's so I can hit the shifter as hard as I can, because if you don't, then it's not going to shift at all, and it's just a horrible experience, and you don't want that. Trust me, I'm trying here. Yeah, listen, my review of the S1000 is, it's great. Great 1000cc motorcycle. It's a little soulless, and I gotta be honest, riding it sometimes feels like more of a job than riding a motorcycle, but it works. And if you got the money, go for it. But my experience with BMW is just not been great. If BMW can't hold its dealers to a standard, then I worry about all the other dealerships in the area as well. But to be honest, I don't think that these bikes are really worth the headache. I may end up just getting another Ducati to fill up that 4th bike slot. Like I said, my main complaints with this bike just came from the fact I dropped so much money into it, and that it's been such a disappointment with it constantly breaking as well. That's the main reason why I said to avoid buying a BMW. It's just because I've had so many of these micro issues, and it's on top of the fact that it's been taking so long to get it fixed. That's why I have these issues with this bike. And again, it completely doesn't invalidate people having good experiences. I'm sure plenty of people out there have bought these bikes and have had no problems at all for tens of thousands of miles. Commonly people compare these to the Japanese bikes in terms of reliability. When built correctly, I'm sure they're great, but it's just not been my experience. is. I did find out a new very fun way to ride this bike. So I'm so used to riding my 1000s with wheelie control on, but I actually think that this bike is a 1000cc that actually deserves to be ridden without wheelie control. Oh my god, every single one of these bumps is the only correct way is to ride this bike with traction control on. Like, traction control is fine, like you kind of, it's nice to have on an S1000 or 1000cc in general, but you want to turn off wheelie control. Contrary to most other 1000s like my R1 or V4, you usually want to ride with wheelie control on and then turning it off if you're going to attempt a wheelie. This bike, I think there's a button right here, this little exclamation point with a circle around it. What that does is it turns off all electronic assists, and so you can ride with wheelie control on, and then you can just hit that button and watch. It just turns everything off, so now everything's off. But I actually think that this bike should be ridden with just wheelie control off in general. It's more of exciting, and that brings me to my last point. Something I mentioned in my TikTok about this bike is how this bike is soulless, which, okay, look, I can already see it. Your brain's turning off. Oh, everyone says it's soulless. I didn't believe it either. I kind of had the same opinion. I'm like, how can a motorcycle be soulless? You're going super fast, and hearing that exhaust and shifting yourself and pulling on the throttle and having the wind around you, how can that ever be soulless? And it's really hard to explain, but it just is. Riding this bike sometimes feels like a job. It doesn't feel so much like, oh, I'm going out for a ride. Like my MT-07, like I could ride that bike in every scenario and I have a blast every time, except for like when I'm trying to go fast. But I'm not trying to go fast anymore. And this is gonna lead into another topic I want to talk about as well, and how watching my friend get hit earlier in the year, I think has changed my brain chemistry so much to the point that I can't force myself to go fast anymore. And it's weird and it's strange, and I don't know what's happening to me. Could be frontal lobe development, but I'm also like only 22, so I don't really know. I think seeing my friend, even though like we weren't going fast at the time, seeing him getting hit, having the blood on his bike running down his arm, having that mental image in my head, I associate that with these faster bikes, and I obviously don't want that to happen to me, but I get scared because I'm like, what if that does happen? I mean, I'll do everything in my power to avoid it, but when you're not riding this bike fast, yeah, it does everything you're supposed to, but almost to a degree where it's too good. And again, you guys aren't going to understand this because I didn't understand it either when I was watching reviews about this bike before I bought it. Like I said, this was my dream bike. I really wanted to own it. I was so excited the day before I bought this bike. And now that I'm riding like a reasonable person, I'm using this bike in ways that it was designed for, but not in the way that I thought I would use it for. It's just it's a strange feeling. What's next? I don't know. I'm gonna keep the V4 and the H2 so long as I don't have any problems with those. Those two bikes have been super hyper reliable. I've had no complaints about those. Like I said, they're still sitting at Ducati right now because I don't have a place to keep them at my parents' house until I move out. I appreciate all the comments and the criticisms. You guys really do. Like, I do read them. I try to pay attention to them, and I try to learn from them. Because I get it. I'm not a perfect person. I'm making mistakes. I'm just trying to get this information to you guys because I'm here. I'm making the mistakes. The guys who want to buy these bikes, I'm trying to let you know so you don't make the same mistakes I did. Because these mistakes, they're expensive mistakes, man. This is not free. I poured a lot of money in this bike. Do you think I'm going to get that money back? Probably not. It's like a $3,500 exhaust on there. I'm probably not getting that money back. I'm very fortunate that I have this platform and I can talk about these things and have that wiggle room to make these mistakes. But I just hope you guys learn from them, that's all. So the conclusion of this video, I'm probably going to be taking this bike back to BMW sometime probably this week, whenever I get time and come around to it. We're going to see with the weather. I would rather not bring it up there when it's raining. But like I said, this bike's already gone over that 30-day window for warranty service. So there's not really a point to me bringing it back. But it is broken. I want them to know that their product is defective and that they didn't fix it. So, and I'm not the only person having these problems because there's other people with S1000s in my area having this exact same issue. So I'm not crazy. And with that, guys, I think I'm going to end today's video here. I hope you guys have had a very pleasant watching experience, and I will see you guys in the next one, probably when I'm taking this bike to the dealer. Bye bye.